What's up, guys? This is going to be a trade recap on how I made $7,000 today. I was trading Asia session. Actually, let me refresh it just to prove. Give it a second. Yep. So I did make $7,000 today on cross of 10 of my accounts. I'm just going to go over my bias and why I traded Asia session today. But first things first, it is Monday. Today was a bank holiday. As we see here, New York was accumulating mostly. There was actually good trades today during New York, shorts or longs, but I did not take them just because I didn't want to trade during the bank holiday, especially when the stock market was closed as well. So that's why I hopped on during Asia session today. But here I marked out New York. This is just a clear power of three, right? New York kind of accumulated, we manipulated in Asia, and then we had a distribution. But going deeper into that, just looking, well, we'll step back a little bit. Looking on the hourly time frame, right? We are in a clear downtrend. We are delivering from this hour gap, which is also a 4 hour gap. Yeah. So we are delivering from this 4 hour gap, respecting the 4 hour gap. Bearish, we are very clearly targeting this low, and then we were targeting this low as well. At the time, keep in mind this low was intact. But yes, so coming into it, New York session was here. This is the high of New York, right? So Asia opens up. Actually, no, this was Asia pre-market. We do this. Asia pre-market, we open up. We tap into this 30-minute gap. Sorry. We tap into this 30-minute gap. We sweep out New York high, which is also a 30-minute intermediate high. Scrolling down to the 1 minute. Just looking at what Asia is doing on open. Keep in mind, Asia is a slower session, so we expect less volume. And Asia doesn't really manipulate like New York normally does. I'm sure, as most of you guys know, New York manipulation, wait for the manipulation, and then you can enter your longs or shorts or whatever, right? So we don't really need to see sweeps when we're trading Asia, just because Asia has less volume. So it's you trade with the trend on Asia, right? So when Asia opens, we have this move up, and then we have this move down, up, down, right? So what I'm seeing here is this move down, this move up, and then we move down again. This is where I entered shorts, by the way. This is my short position. Entered shorts right here, right? So entering here is like after we move up, down, and we get this up again, I don't expect us to keep going up because Asia doesn't manipulate this low to then go higher. That's not what Asia does. Asia will follow this trend, right? So after doing this, we are expecting this trend to just keep going bearish after this push down, right? So looking deeper into this, we already have a very clear bearish bias on the higher time frame. Also looking at this 30-minute, this wick right here, right? We had a clear bearish candle right here. We have the wick there. And then scrolling down back onto this 1 minute, we have here was price. After this big leg down, price comes down and perfectly taps our equilibrium and respects it of this down leg, right? So we're already looking for shorts. You could have honestly had a really aggressive entry entered here, but I want to wait for more confirmation during Asia. But after that, I just decided to wait. I had confirmation. We had equilibrium. We're respecting it. We had a very clear inverse 1 minute fair value gap, right? So I toss on my short here. I put my stop at this high. And this was, and also I was confident in this trade because I also had a very easy break even point, right? So this was my break even point. So I felt safe entering this trade because I can slam break even on pretty quick, which I don't recommend putting break even on super quick most of the time. But then again, if I'm trading Asia, I want to be a little bit less risk, which is I was today. Normally I risk about $250 to $300 a trade. I was only risking about 180 for this trade. But yes, I was able to manage my risk well. I was able to have a good break even spot. So I entered my trade off of this inverse fair value gap, respect of this equilibrium zone, right? Nope, it's from this high. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm measuring from the equilibrium from this high and not this high, is because this price leg down already was its own leg and it already hit equilibrium of this. So technically we only need to find the equilibrium of this point right here for us to actually reach equilibrium, right? So we do that. We sweep out this internal 1 minute intermediate high, right? So this is liquidity being swept. Internal liquidity on Asia is better than session liquidity being swept. That will happen, but we're not looking for huge manipulation moves. But we're just continuing trend down here. And then let me show executions. So executions right here. Um, take my short there, obviously, put on break even right here pretty quick, which was nice. So I didn't have to worry about it anymore. It was risk off. And then I ended up closing this trade somewhere around here. I'm not exactly sure, but that's just because we had an SMT with ES. And yes, I was targeting this low at first, but at this point I was up $7,000 in Asia session, which is pretty good. And having a 1-to-4 risk to reward is also really good for Asia session. So I decided to just take my piece of the pie and step away. I mean, if I held all the way down here, it would have been like a 15K day, but we're not going to worry about that, right? So this was the trade. Honestly, really, really, really good trade. Normally we don't see this good price action coming out of Asia session, but like I said, we had a slow New York, and normally when we have a slow New York like this, our next session, which is always Asia, will be a little bit faster, right? So New York was our accumulation session. Asia was our manipulation and distribution session today. So yeah, that was the trade recap of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop any questions if you want to. Right here is my Instagram and TikTok. I do post daily on my Instagram story, just recaps and my thought for the market of the day. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.